Hey guys, Steve here. Today I'm gonna give you a quick rundown on these Halloween commanders. I think you can actually get them out of the crates now, especially if you're boosting through the campaign. But regardless, they're gonna be widely available. I think you're gonna be able to get them in the campaign store for these tabs, wherever we're gonna get this currency. I don't know. Maybe they said, but I've been taking a look at these commanders now. Like the last crop of Halloween commanders, they appear to be strong. You'll see I got 12.2 on these. They're giving us loaner versions of these, which is nice because we'll get to test them out. So I haven't actually played. I've tried Mordoff here. This is the first guy. Tried him on the Benham a few times. We'll probably see some of that footage here in the near future. Gonna do the commander rundown today. West Virginia tomorrow and Benham the following day is the plan. Anyways, base trait: reduce reload time of your destroyer's main gun battery. Looks like it's about a 6 per second reduction overall. That's pretty good. I have this guy slated as a straight up Halsey replacement. Check the build here. Well, this is set up for the Benham, which is a torpedo boat. It's a little bit different. But if we compare it to Halsey, I got this perk here. I got this twist and track, and then the smoke gen here, right? We're going to if we run the same build, we got this, and then instead of this, we're going to the Sheltered Arms Turtled perk. Risk a main battery and torpedo launchers becoming incapacitated. 50% reduction in half. And now this is a slot 4 perk, so this takes a lot of resources to boost. Get it up to max, you need Legendary 4, which is a severe commitment. But Legendary 2, you know, level 16 legendary 2, you can get that up to negative 75%, which is very strong. It's making it very hard to get those torpedoes knocked out, which is more devastating. The main guns, of course, is protecting those as well, also strong. Here, I'm not going to go into builds necessarily. If we're going to run it as a Halsey replacement, I think something along these lines might be pretty solid. People that have tested this out tell me on like the Kid, the Fletcher, this guy's just shooting straight up, you know, machine guns with this base trade, reducing the reload time. So I haven't. We'll be testing these guys out more in the near future. We'll be featuring each of these commanders in their own video, kind of displaying them out there in the field. But I thought I want to give you a rundown today because you guys are probably pretty excited. These guys quite strong. So Mordoff, I got a buy rating on that guy. Up next, we got Blue is this person's name. Again, we got a torpedo-centric build over here. This anytime you see a toggle over here, this reduces the detectability of the torps. Check this out: 180 meters reduction there, 150 over here. So we got basically a built-in, mid-level Otago. I mean, this is 16.2 over here. So we're talking, close to about level 13, level 14 type Otago built into this. Torpedo relaunch reload, 30% reduction. Torpedo damage massively reduced, 40. Now, this setup right here. I mean, this is basically how I have base set up. Otago on there as well. Actually, I don't. So maybe that's throwing off my numbers. But this build, from whatever I wrote down last on my Z23, reduced the reaction time by about 2 seconds. So whatever it is, I mean, it's one of the best reaction times in the game now. It's actually tied with the Lightning for Tier 7 best. So, I mean, that's slot 1. You also have the subsurface venture option, or just straight up this. I mean, this is all torpedo-centric. Slot 1. Base trait, by the way, increase your destroyer's max speed. So anyone interested in boosting your French, your Russian destroyers for speed, that's a good inspiration type trait there. Not bad. It's not going to hurt you on the Germans because the Germans are so pokey anyways. They could use a little bit of a kick in the pants, but it's not going to really be enhancing one of that line's strengths. It's more mitigating a weakness. Here you have the option for various levels of concealment. Here's double 6%, 10%, but we're reducing the HP here. not committed to these builds yet. These are just early thoughts of mine. But, you know, that gives you options here. This one, I was thinking of putting the range on here just because since we're going to be spitting torpedoes out at, you know, every 45 seconds, I think it's roughly at with the Z23, which is insane. You know, we're going to be spitting them out. We want to increase the range here in this build. So that's my early thoughts. Of course, we'll be testing this out and going into it more again, probably next week. But you have the torpedo reload, and you also have the destroyer's version of the, you know, the indicator telling you when you're targeted. Boost the rudder shift time. Doesn't hurt for a destroyer. I don't think that's necessarily the strongest. Although I've never, frankly, experimented much with that perk. And then here we got speed boost, like you would see on the Japanese. I put these on my Japanese destroyer builds. It's, again, because we're so gung-ho on the torps on this build. Smoke for the Germans isn't that great, so I figured to try that one out. And then here we're protecting our engine. So also extremely strong on paper at least. But base trait, keep in mind, applicable. You can put that on inspirations. This guy over here, reload time, maybe not. I don't necessarily think that's always the strongest for inspirations, but it's something to play around with. It's not horrible. And then the third guy, Sergio Splendento, master pushmaker. By the way, read these bios. Like, I'm not going to go into it just because I don't know who wrote these. I think these bios are hilarious for these made-up characters, though. Just, they're hilarious for numerous reasons. Sergio's base trait, increase the main battery traverse speed of your destroyer. Just what the doctor ordered for these Russians. So we get a range boost on these guys just built into the game. And they got massively buffed in numerous areas. But the range boost helps. This also helps. Traverse speed, major problem on a lot of these Russian destroyers. So this guy, he doesn't have twist and track that'll pop out at anyone who has similar philosophies for destroyers as I do. So Troops is still probably slated to be my main, at least gunboat destroyer commander for this. And we'll stick with his survivability build. But over here, because I want to boost this guy anyway to get access to this trait, I think that would be very valuable for numerous lines to potentially look at. Here you have the, you know, the British type perk. I think maybe the French have this, where the more damage you get, the quicker your arms reload themselves. You know, lots of good options. You can see 3 perks on bottom 3 here. This one looks like, you know, this is mostly torpedo related, at least in my mind, on these top 3 branches. So I'm thinking Tashkent, Leningrad, the Russian destroyers that get access to the torpedo play, I think could be interesting here. Special perk over here, again, reducing the risk of engine and steering gears being disabled. So instead of the armaments like we had on the American, here we're more defensive. And this is outstanding as well. I mean, keeping that engine going, keeping those steering gears going. Those of you guys that play a lot of destroyers know how often you get those knocked out. So that's extremely strong as well. So again, base trait, worth considering putting on lines. Build, I don't think I'd put this on the Minsk or the Pod or anything that's going to be limited to suicide torp runs. But anything that we can maybe do, you know, initially I was planning on boosting Gurn for the Tashkent and the Leningrad. Not a bad option, you know, but base trait, you know, not bad. I'm just thinking pound for pound, Sergio beats him out. I mean, this perk is extremely strong here. This one's extremely strong here. And then top 2 slots, we basically have the same options. We actually have more options. We have a third option here with this engine boost one if you want. So, pound for pound, I'd say Sergio's better than Gurn. If you're planning on using Gurn, I think Sergio's just straight up better. Same thing in my mind, at least early impressions, Vincent or Mordoff to Halsey. I've been a strong proponent of Halsey. I think this guy's just a straight up improvement over him. And then this guy, it's turning you into it's kind of like a low damage version of the kamikaze, you know, at whatever tier you want to put it at, T61. Z23, we got mid 40s torpedo reloads, and then the other higher tier German destroyers. I think someone was saying it was like 55. I was talking to JT, my mod on Discord. He was saying it was coming in at like mid 50s on those. So extremely fast reload. It's just very unique play. I think all three of them are going to be really strong, and I would recommend if you have the means and the interest in destroyers. I think those are all going to be good upgrades and good additions to your fleet. So anyway, that's a look at the new commanders for you guys. Hope you did enjoy that. If you did, please hit the thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, I wouldn't mind if you considered subscribing. There's always more World of Warships coming down the pipe. Questions, comments, leave below. I do love to hear from you guys, and we'll see y'all later. Peace.